Thank you to the T5 peeps. Bob the Dragon, Datamagnet, Cat Crab Lobster, Duck Machine, Try Again 95, Astraya the Dreamer, Mezec, Budic Joel, Germanchemist, Casper Arnholtz, and Chaos to Must. Thank you very much.
Story number 1. Never get in a gun measuring contest with humans. Written by SlowAd2584. The human walked into the shipyard weapon store in the Great Index Market. He was curious how big and bad the guns could be. Maybe he would learn something, or at least see something cool.
Ah, welcome, sir. What can we assist you with?
The merchant said. This was a human. This was slightly alarming. I'm just looking for guns. Big guns. The bigger the better, the human said, with a slightly bored look at his face. What's the biggest, nastiest gun in here?
Well, sir, we have some standard naval bombard cannons used for the shunning of a planet from orbit. What is the term you humans use? Oh, yes, a rod from God kinetic impactor. Basically what you would call a telephone pole of crystal metal tungsten, simply dropped onto space onto your target. Nuclear yields, but all kinetic. No nasty radiation or contamination. Leaves a crater about a mile wide, though.
Yeah, those are okay. We already have those, but with a twist, it's called a pulse impactor. Basically, we launch 2 rods at the calculated interval, so when they strike in a pa-pow, 2 impact strikes are in harmonic wavelength with the bedrock of the target.
The vendor was confused. Oh, what good does that do?
It generates a seismic ripple in the crust. Think giant earthquake. Rolling tidal wave of hillside outward for 12 miles. Extra damage over a larger area. Broken structures, ruined infrastructure, minimal loss of civilian life. A harmonic distorted ground effects greater than the sum of the 2 impactors alone.
The vendor was stunned. What a clever and wicked design. Well, fascinating. Might I interest you in an anti-capital ship missiles? These models have a range of 40,000 kilometers and an acceleration of over 600 Gs.
Yeah, we don't use missiles anymore. Not cost effective. All the electronics and fielded stuff, we just use cannonballs.
What are cannonballs?
Basically, solid iron spheres about 3 kilograms. At the bottom of a cannon barrel, when fired, the ball is accelerated to about, 12% the speed of light.
Oh my god. But how?
X-ray maser kick. The ship aims the gun, broadside battery actually, and specially tuned X-ray maser, molecular laser, zaps it and vaporizes the back of the sphere, launching it forward with both melted ejector and physical impact of the terawatts of energy focusing on the now concave pit in the pack of the balls. Just a good old-fashioned gun. A bit more extreme, though.
The gun dealer merchant was silent, stunned.
Yeah, the acceleration of those things, who knows, maybe FWIP, and they're gone, and there is a messy hole on the other ship over there in the distance. We figure why laser zap a ship when we can just send something with a bit more, substance, you know? Oh, and the best thing is, when we run out of ammo, we still have a battery broadside of terawatt masers.
The merchant was desperate to one-up the human now. I'm not supposed to show you this, but we do have some special stock in planet killers.
Oh, well, that is interesting. How do those work?
Well, it is some sort of dark matter hose that infiltrates the dense ribbon of dark matter through an entire planet mass, then gets activated somehow, converting the antimatter neutrons and antiprotons all throughout the planet, and poof, or rather whoomp. Very much like your movie Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, actually.
We thought dark matter was just a math error.
Oh no, sir. It's very real.
Seems like a lot of work, though. For that sort of thing, we'd just drop a bit of a neutron star to the surface. Yeah, those things sort of free fall clean through a planet, and just yo-yo back and forth as the world spins underneath it. Best part of that is there is nothing to shoot at or try and stop it. Just a passing ship dropping off something rather heavy.
Humans have neutronium? How?
Oh, I don't know. You know, those eggheads can do some pretty neat things if, throw enough money at them. It basically just has something to do with ringing the bell of liquid quark inner layers of a neutron star, setting up some sort of Tesla oscillation to pry droplets of condensed neutrons away that are flung outwards. I can't pretend to understand that stuff, but I know it takes over 100 years to get a single drop, because of warping of space-time and some dilation thing.
That was absurd. Certainly now the human was just making things up. The vendor can play that game too. Well, the books are rumored to have a micro-black hole gun. It's a one-shot chip consumed in the...
Oh, we just make our singularities in a gun breach, called a huge blitz or something. Just a lot of light compressed together. E equals mc squared, you know. With enough E, or for that matter m, to reach the Roche limit, and presto, instant pump singularity. Then we quickly get the hell out of there. Less messy that way, plus we get to keep the ship. The eggheads get super clever though. They pump our singularity with energy for a lifetime, just long enough to travel to the target, so that it'll explosively evaporate somewhere inside the target. Super kablooey! All that armor in the world counts for nothing. I seen it once. Looked like a mini Big Bang trying to happen. Deep in the middle of a battleship. It was awesome. Never seen so much tonnage turn to dust quite so beautifully.
Absurd. There is a precursor galaxy killer, rumored to have obliterated the galaxies that used to be in the Great Boots Void.
Well, if it ever came to all of that, we would just use a strangelet gun as a final FU to anyone doing any sort of stuff like that.
A what?
A strangelet, a sort of universe killer. Those human eggheads, you know. The crazy stuff they dream up.
How,
does, it's some sort of strange bit of exotic matter. Its fundamental forces are not like any of the other forces in our universe. I guess the way the fundamental forces work here is that the packets of information is transferred between all particles or strings or whatever. There is this fundamental forces of nature. So, like electromagnetic force is a photon, it bounces between things carrying information back and forth. In the photon's case, it is something like, I am A+, you are a minus, we act this way. And that message bounces back, I am a minus and you are a plus, we act this way. This self-referential reinforcement is basically what keeps the whole gearwork of it all running stable-like for all the billions of years of the universe. But shoot a strangelet at it, well, anything. And it's you are a plus and I'm a pink banana, so we act clockwise magenta. Very, very quickly as the strangelet interacts with every other particle or string or whatever of the universe. It all falls apart as everything becomes a half pink banana, and everything tries to turn clockwise magenta. Everything. Stars, planets, molecules, atoms, quarks. It all flops apart as strange and weak nuclear forces fizzle to strangeness. Outward at the speed of light. The end of, everything. It all just turns into oddly magenta fuzz. Or something. We certainly won't be around to witness it. I wonder how the eggheads figured out what it would look like afterwards. There was a silence in the store. Other shoppers in the store were also silent, all staring in stunned horror at the human, casually talking about a universe-killing gun. Well, I came here hoping to see something interesting in this supposed weapon store. This is lame. I'm leaving now. As the humans left the store, one of the other shoppers whispered to the storekeeper. What, who was that? That, my friend, was a human. From Earth. I'm certain you've seen the warnings. End of story. Story number 2. The Mind Games They Play. Written by SlowAd2584. So, me and my co-worker Rob, the human, he hates being called that, were messing around in the break room. I told Rob, the human, that he could not strike me in the face, no matter how sneaky he thought he was. My reflexes were just so much faster than his. Rob, the human, looked me up and down and said, Seriously, is that a challenge? I put on my guard with a big smile. I told Rob, the human, Yeah,
nothing serious, just for fun. Now, I warn you that I have studied the
Rob the human was sneaky as he put the cup of coffee on the break room counter, with his attention clearly on placing it so that it won't spill. Rob the human's other hand tapped me on my nose.
What? Hey, you weren't starting yet. That one doesn't count.
I paid much more attention now, determination to not get tricked again. It was embarrassing. I have 6 arms here, after all. Rob the human said, look, I don't want to get in trouble for being late back from lunch. It's also time. His head tilted to the wall clock. As I glanced over, I saw that it was indeed almost time, and the boss was a stickler. As I looked back at Rob the human, however, I felt a fist bump my chin. He was holding it there so my spinning head would collide with it.
Hey, stop cheating.
Okay, let's wrap this up. For reals now. You ready? Rob the human said.
Rob the human, I have studied the martial arts of my people for longer than you have been alive. You stand no chance.
Yeah, okay. See this? He had his left hand extended out to the side of my head, shaking distractingly, and he had his right arm cocked for a punch.
Yes, I see it. I'm onto your tricks.
I knew the shaking hand was a distraction, so I focused on the arm about to punch me the moment I was distracted by the other hand. And, the hand he was shaking distractingly slapped me upside the head.
I thought you said you saw that,
Rob the human said with a grin.
Let's get back to work.
Fun game, bud. You almost stopped me all 3 times, Rob the human said. I made a mental note to be glad that I was friends with Rob the human. He was actually surprisingly clever. I would hate to think what would happen if Rob the human ever got truly mad. I also made a note to alert our military high command. We may want to call off the war with the humans, if they are all as devious and manipulative. If this lunch break revealed anything, it's that we would not stand a chance of either. My head is still spinning all those loop-de-loops that he'd made me going through, just with a simple little challenge. I'm still trying to walk through the ways he got me. And maybe I should stop calling him Rob the human. His name is Harvey. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed